everybody, my name is Kimberly Copley. I'm joined here today with some of my coworkers. We work for Dr. Doubleday, and they've been very gracious to share their time with us. Dr. Doubleday is a dermatologist here in Houston. He is board certified, and he is also a fellow of the American Academy of Dermatology. And today I'm here with a speech purpose of persuading my audience to reevaluate tanning behaviors and also increase their use of good quality sunscreen. So I'm going to start with a true story from the Skin Cancer Foundation's website about a 22-year-old girl. Her name is Natalie, and she is a melanoma survivor. And she said that I tanned because I feel like it made me look prettier. I feel like it made me look even skinnier than I was. And when Natalie learned that a mole on her back was melanoma, which is the most dangerous form of skin cancer, she was stunned. Her grandmother had cautioned her against indoor tanning and had warned her long about the cautions and dangers of skin cancer, but she would shrug it off and think, that can't happen to me, I'm 22, and that's just not something that's going to happen in my life. And when she was, in fact, given her diagnosis, she was encountered with a new thought, which is, I can't believe that I did this to myself. So let's talk about, first of all, who does skin cancer affect? Skin cancer is the most common form of skin cancer, or is the most common form of cancer in the United States. There are more than 3.5 million skin cancers that are diagnosed in 2 million people annually. And each year there are more new cases of skin cancer than the combined incidence of the top 4 cancers: breast, prostate, lung, and colon all combined. 1 in 5 Americans will develop some form of skin cancer at some point throughout their lives. And over the last 31 years, more people have had skin cancer than all other types of cancer combined. So what is it? There are 3 common types of skin cancer that I'm going to talk about today. The first of which is basal cell carcinoma. That's the most common form. They are abnormal, uncontrolled growths or lesions that arise in your skin's basal cells, which are the deepest layer of your skin, so they're the furthest away from the surface of your skin. They can look like open sores, red patches, they might be pink. Sometimes they can even resemble bumps or scars on your skin. Next, I'll talk about squamous cell carcinomas. These are a little bit less commonly diagnosed, and they are growths of abnormal cells that come in the squamous cells, which are a little bit closer to the surface of your skin, and they often can look like scaly red patches. They might look like open sores, elevated growth that have kind of a central depression inside. They can also resemble warts or sores that don't heal and often bleed. And last but not least is melanoma, which can most commonly resemble moles. They can be flat to the surface of your skin, or they might be raised. And the majority of them are black or brown, but they can be just about any color, from skin-colored, pink, they can be blue, black, white. And that is the most dangerous form of skin cancer. They arise from unrepaired DNA, which can cause mutations, and that can lead to metastasization, which spreads to other parts of your body, not just your skin. They originate in melanocytes, which are the pigment-producing cells in your skin. So where is skin cancer likely to occur? It can happen anywhere in your body, including your lips, and it is the product of repeated exposure to ultraviolet light. So that can be either from the sun or from indoor UV tanners, which we commonly know as tanning beds. People who tan indoors are 74% more likely to develop some form of melanoma in their lives than people who have never tanned indoors before. So the World Health Organization actually includes indoor tanning devices in Group 1, which is the most dangerous type of carcinogenic substance, and the other things that are included in that same classification are things like plutonium, and also cigarettes are included in the same classification as indoor tanning devices. When is skin cancer most likely to happen? So up to 90% of the visible changes that are attributed to aging are caused by the sun. So sun damage is actually a cumulative exposure issue. It happens throughout the entire lifespan. It's an additive and cumulative effect. So contrary to popular belief, you accumulate skin damage over your lifetime. It's not something that just happens acutely in your earlier years when you spend more time in the sun. And why does skin cancer happen, and why is it on the rise? There's a commonly held cultural and sociological belief that being tan makes you look skinnier or more pretty. And also the indoor tanning industry is a $5 billion a year business. They have a very powerful federal and state lobbying component. So I would largely attribute the rise in skin cancer to that industry and their very powerful marketing and lobbying behaviors. So last but not least, how can we prevent skin cancer? There's a lot of different acronyms and ways to remember if you need to get checked. As far as moles go, you can remember the A, B, C, D, and E. A is asymmetry. Anything on your body that looks like a lesion or a mole that might be asymmetrical is something to have checked out. B stands for borders. So look at the borders of any kind of freckle or mole on your body. Is it darker? Is it lighter in color than the center? C stands for color. So we want to remember that the darker the mole, the more likely it might be abnormal, or if that color changes, that's another thing to be aware of. D stands for diameter. So any mole that's larger than about a pencil eraser, which is about 1/4 inch in size, is something you would want to have examined by your dermatologist. And then last but not least is E, evolving. So any kind of mole or lesion that changes on your body that might be getting bigger or might be changing in shape, size, color, that's something that you definitely want to have checked out by your doctor. A couple other things to remember: seek shade when appropriate. The sun's rays are strongest between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And a way to remember is if you're outside and you see your shadow and your shadow is shorter than you are tall, then that's a good time to seek shade. And remember to use a good quality sunscreen, something that's SPF 30 or higher, that is broad spectrum and UVA and UVB protective. And reapply if you're outdoors, especially if you're getting wet, sweating, or swimming. You want to reapply every 2 hours, and that's going to provide you with the most protection long term. So last, in conclusion, I want to share that skin cancer is the most preventable type of cancer that we get, and it is the most commonly diagnosed. And your prevention strategies are very easy, very affordable. Just a little bit of sunscreen and protection is all you need. And remember, you can still have a lot of fun in the sun. Just bring your sunscreen with you, and skin cancer is not sexy. It's better to go with your own glow. So we're going to turn over to the question and answer portion of our presentation today. Our audience has a couple questions, hopefully, for me.
Okay. When I'm shopping for sunscreen, how do I know it has the protection that I need?
When you're shopping for sunscreen and you're going through the aisles, there's a lot of different options, and the American Dermatology Association recommends that you find something with a sun protective factor SPF of 30 or higher, and that it has that UVA, UVB, and broad spectrum protection. That's going to be your best kind. And if you're sunning, sporting, sweating, you want something that also says water resistant. That's going to be compliant with new FDA regulations about sunscreen.
Are there any warning signs or clues that something on my skin might be cancerous?
Yes, absolutely. So we talked about those A, B, C, D, E's of moles. That's one thing that you're going to want to look at. But a lot of times before skin cancer fully develops, you might develop a precancerous lesion, which is known as actinic keratosis. And that can look like a non-healing wound or scar, or sometimes just a raised kind of bump that's itchy. That's something that your dermatologist can diagnose and treat for you, and hopefully prevent that turning into a full-blown skin cancer.
Okay. What if I still want to look tan? What alternatives do I have?
Well, there's some wonderful sunless tanning products now on the market that will still give you a really nice, beautiful, healthy glow. And you want to look for products that are organic. You can do a spray tan either in a booth, or you can do an airbrush spray tan, which gives really beautiful natural results. And then also there's at-home products that have nice moisturizers and other wonderful benefits for your skin. So are there any other questions?
Great presentation.
Thank you
Very
for your
well
time.
done.
All right. Thank you.